Well, yet another cold front has made landfall today as the Western Cape battles widespread flooding, damage to infrastructure and roads. Thousands of people have been adversely affected, with many seeking shelter at community halls and even churches. Authorities continue to assess several areas where roads, in fact, have also been washed away. Now, the main road between Citrusdal and Ceres have been partially reopened to traffic. The road from Citrusdal to the N7 road remains closed as work in this area is still underway. Relief efforts are also en route so that more than 1,300 residents in an informal settlement in Rawsonville in the Boerland, where more than 300 structures have been flooded, leaving the community cut off at this point, where the Huguenot Tunnel has also been reopened for light motor vehicles but remains closed to heavy vehicles and trucks. Meanwhile, provincial officials are today expected to provide an update of the impact of the recent floods on the agriculture sector and relief interventions. Well, SABC News' Vanessa Puna has more.
Disaster management officials here in the Breede Valley say that they are concerned with reports of more rain due over the next few days. Of course, at the moment, we're standing in front of a local church, a hall where hundreds of residents of the spooky town informal settlement have been housed since Wednesday. This, of course, as the informal settlement is along a river which has burst its banks. I'm joined now by Chief Fire and Disaster Management Officer from the Breede Valley Municipality, Theo Botha. Mr. Botha, you told me just now that it's difficult to say how many residents are still left behind in Spooky Town. Explain to us how the evacuation went, how many people you evacuated to this hall, and what the situation is like currently.
Yeah, good afternoon. After we received initial news from the South African Weather Service about the flooding and the level 6 warning, we evacuated people from Spookiesdorp to the local community church hall, and then we evacuated approximately 360 families from the local area, which amounts to about 1,200 people. We have housed them here and fed them with warm meals and provided them with mattresses and blankets. However, everything is not enough, and we have fortunately been receiving donations from local NGOs as well as gift of the givers. As you can see, the trucks behind us. So we are busy preparing to also allocate people with mattresses and blankets and food, etc.
We know that not all those residents that were affected have actually vacated those informal structures. Do you have numbers at this stage? And if not, what are your concerns with more rain on the cards in the next few days?
Yeah, we are concerned about it because we are expecting more rain today, and unfortunately, people they have to move back to those structures to try and salvage their belongings. And if the river does push up again and the area flood, we have to evacuate people again or move them out from that area. We are expecting better weather during the rest of the week from tomorrow onwards, which will hopefully help to relieve the area and also make the water subside. At the moment, the hall is still occupied by the residents that have been displaced, and hopefully they can return to normal life soon and under better conditions.
Besides, of course, this community that obviously have been affected very badly, have there been any other disaster management issues that you've had to deal with? For example, I know in parts of the metro, rivers overflowing. We know that there have been mudslides. We know that in some areas, electricity pylons washed away. What other disaster management issues have you experienced over the past week?
Yeah, what we have experienced is actually rescuing of animals that were still trapped in enclosures. For instance, even here in Rawsonville, we had animals that were trapped in the kraals and also in enclosures like pigs and cows, etc. But we managed to save them, and unfortunately, as you know, there are some of those animals we can't always get to because of the strength of the river. In other parts, some roads have been closed, and there's still a road closed in the Doorings that washed away. But our road section is busy with repairs there, and hopefully it will be open soon. But also in Toes River, there has been areas that has been hit by the flood, but fortunately they were just local evacuations that taken place there. But there were no loss of life in that area, and also here in Spookiesdorp there was no loss of life in this area also.
Theo Buerta, thank you so much for speaking to us. Of course, there, Mr. Theo Buerta, he's a fire and disaster management official, chief official here in the Breeda Valley municipality, speaking to us about the disaster risk issues that have been experienced over the past week, and also what the concerns are going forward with more rain forecast for the rest of today.